let's talk about the chasing energy, because we as INFJs don't really ever see ourselves as people who chase others. It's not who we are. We're rather the people who stay in the back, do their own thing, observe. And it feels like, this entire concept of, okay, I'm going to chase somebody, or I'm going to chase, being in their vicinity. I'm going to call them, I'm going to text them. That's just not something that works for us. It's not one of our problems. But what we completely neglect in this entire equation is the fact that we're constantly chasing energetically if we're not choosing ourselves. And as long as we are not aware of it, we're pretty much creating incredibly toxic situations for ourselves. So this isn't just only about romantic relationships. This is about absolutely everything that we desire in life. And what I found is that once I've understood this concept, I see the results in real life. But I had to first come to terms with the fact that if I check out what somebody else is doing, I'm chasing energetically. If I'm tapping into somebody else's energy and absorbing that energy, that's actually chasing energy, because I am going over there in their world and trying to pick something of that up. Yes, I'm going to give some of my energy and help them, but I'm still in their world. And as INFJs, we all know the feeling of being in somebody else's energy. We all know what it means to tap into somebody else's world. Very often it's actually more so, okay, I'm hollowing myself out and I'm absorbing other people's energies. But again, other people's energies. We're not choosing our own energy. So let's talk about it, because this concept really made a huge shift in me, and it actually happened this year. Like the realization I'm talking to you about today, like the full realization I really had, only a couple of days ago. It made something so clear to me that I know, okay, this is one more layer of authenticity. This is one more layer of choosing myself. And things are already shifting around in my life. And I see it with the interactions I have. I see it with how I feel. And I also see it with the way I connect with people. It really reaches a new level. And so I really want to teach you the techniques that I've been using and what has helped me, and how I explain the situation to me in such a way that it makes sense and that I can stick to it in situations where I might get, blown off course. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to take to the next level in creating your INFJ Epic Life, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. If you want to get an insight of how it works and what the layers of it are, just an overview, then check out the free poster on the INFJ Epic Life formula. And if you want to go all in and you want me to help you with your personal situation and create the biggest changes possible, then work with me one-on-one. All the information on everything that I offer you can find in the links in the description. I talked about it in one of the videos I did a couple of weeks ago, or like last week or something like this, that choosing your life will seem boring, but it's actually choosing our own energy. It's about going back to ourselves. It's about cutting off looking at what somebody else is doing. It's removing the access to energy to come into our system. So if you've known my channel for a while, I don't talk in a lot of esoteric terms. I don't really identify with it, but the truth is I do work with energy a lot. I just do. It's just part of who I am. It has helped me immensely. The biggest shifts in my life have happened through relationships that mainly happened energetically. So I don't talk about it so much because there's not so much understanding for it, and I'm going to make it as practical as I possibly can. But as INFJs who are intuitive feelers, we have to understand this concept to some extent. When we say we understand other people's energies, we can go into their worlds, it's energy stuff. And so it's not something that is, made up, esoteric, spiritual, glorification. And we see people like this all around. And I see people who actually get stuck in that, and it becomes this, cosplay kind of thing. And so this is not something I ever wanted to encourage. So this is like a little disclaimer here that I aim to be very practical. I aim to make it as tangible as possible. and to, give names to it, and an understanding that, will just help us to get the results that we want. And once you get the results that you want, it doesn't really matter how you got there. So there's so many things I don't really tell my friends about. Like, I'm not going out to my friends and saying, oh, I'm feeling their energy and all of that. But I know for me, yeah, this works. I do feel their energy. I know when somebody's upset. I know when somebody is being triggered by me. We INFJs get that. So that being said, why do we have to learn not to chase? So I don't know if you know this, but this is, again, a huge trend online. This is something people talk about a lot. Chasing somebody. Okay, stop chasing. Let them come to you. All of that. But very often this is considered to come from like a physical space. We've talked about it. I'm not going to go to a bar somebody's at in order to bump into them. I'm not going to write messages, all of that. This is not enough. It really is about, I'm not going to tap into their energy. I'm going to put a boundary up, and not because it's going to hurt me, not because it's not interesting to tap into their energy, but more so because it's not going to get me anywhere. I cannot connect with people unless I'm connecting through myself first. People are always going to stay away from you. People are always going to trigger you to some extent. There's always going to be something going on that is not the way you want. You're going to repel great jobs. You're going to repel great relationships. And the same things can happen with the same people and the same environments, all of that, if you start connecting through yourself. So I've seen, huge changes with a very close family member exactly because of that. I've seen huge changes with my friends. I've seen huge changes when it came to how I show up professionally. Everything changes if you go through yourself first, because people need to be able to hold on to something that you are. So it doesn't need for the other person, whatever they are, to be an intuitive feeler to get a grasp of that. It's more so that we have to be as authentically us as we possibly can. And in regards to energy, this means I'm going to stay with myself. And as INFJs, and this is, I think, the very crucial part here, it means grounding ourselves. We have a very strong intuition. We go overboard. We know that. So think of yourself, in order for me to be as present as I possibly can, I need to ground myself as much as possible. And that's when we come to SE again. Grounding yourself is the thing that's going to make your energy stable. Because as long as we don't have that grounding energy, we can just go left and right. We can absorb other people's energies. We can get lost in somebody's energy. We can get really in uncomfortable situations. And practically, this really looks like I'm not going to go out of my way to see what other people are doing. I'm not going to check their social media. I'm not going to see what some old school friends are doing, or, go to an event where it seems like people don't actively want me to be there, but I just want to be part of that. We're not doing that. What we're doing is we are creating a space, and then we're inviting people in. That's what we do. That's how you really ground yourself. This is how people connect with you through you. And so once I understood this concept, and I've seen switches in my behavior where I was pulled to, see what's going on over there, or, take care of people who are close to me energetically. Like, so often I see this. I'm worrying on behalf of somebody else, and I'm sending them energy, and I'm explaining things to them, and I want to inspire them in order for them to tap into their best self. This doesn't work. What you're doing is you're letting go of your energy and you're going into their energy field. What we have to do is we have to make our energy field bigger, be a mirror through that, and allow people to tap into more of who they are as well. So the more stable our energy is, the more we encourage others around us energetically to really tap into their authentic energy space. And through that, you create great connections, and, people are appreciative of your energy and of what you have to give, and so on. And the best thing about it is you creating an upward spiral of, I'm filling my own energy cup up, And whatever is overflowing, I can then share with people. I have something that I can give to others. I can give something without expecting something in return because I'm not sacrificing myself. Right? Most of the time, we're like, okay, I see that you're struggling with something. I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to give you my energy. And through that, I hope that I will get the validation that I'm a good person. Because think of it like this. If we are sending somebody energy, and this doesn't have to be in this telepathic way, just think of it, okay, I have people in my life who I feel like I can help and I want to make space for them so they feel their best or inspire them and so on. And if that person doesn't appreciate it and even like gets triggered, we very often first off don't know what's happening. We're like, I'm not doing anything. Why are they getting triggered? Well, because this energy stuff is real. That's why they're getting triggered. If it wasn't, this wouldn't be happening. And so don't look at all of those things that are said in like this really strict sensory world where it's all about, well, I didn't call them, so I'm not chasing them. I didn't tell them I want to be friends with them, so it's not happening. Think of it more so in the terms of, where does my attention go? Is my attention on my purpose? Or is my attention on what their purpose is and how I can assist their purpose? Your purpose is your purpose. And yes, that might be that you're helping people, find their best selves and become better people. And in many cases, this is considered one of like the INFJ's gifts, as in we help other people be more of who they really are. But it happens because we're tapping into our truth. We're staying with our energy. And in the video I did a couple of, weeks ago, or I don't know, like a week and a half ago or something, where it's like, choose the boring life. That's what it means. Our energy will feel boring at first. We have to start building it up. But this boredom stuff, that's like the safe space. That's the foundation. That's the place where nobody can hurt you. It's boring, but it's safe. And that has to be the foundation. And then we add layers to it. That's when we say, okay, let me grow with what I have. What is the kind of energy that I would have to embody? What are the things that I would have to do in order to, create a life where if I would look at it from the outside, I would say, yeah, that's a person who's won at life. Because, there are people who are way more successful in all the kinds of endeavors in their life, and they feel miserable than in comparison to me, for example. I, felt like I have won, probably even 10 years ago, the moment I started, because I knew I'm safe here. This is something that I can build on, and everything else is just the cherry on top. And that's why I always advocate in INFJ Epic Life. This is possible for every one of us, because there's no external thing that's going to make us feel like I've made it or I haven't made it. There's always a version of us that could be in a worse situation than we are right now. And there's always a version of us that could be even more in alignment with who we're meant to be. But as long as we're on the trajectory towards that, we're golden. And that doesn't mean that people are not going to trigger you. That doesn't mean that there aren't parts of us that aren't whole. It doesn't mean that there aren't, some kind of leaks going on. Of course there are. And I might feel whole now. And then, 3 years from now, I would say in comparison to then, now I'm whole. Like this is just a way more grounded version of myself. For me, in most cases, it really means I'm more and more grounded. It feels like I'm even more present. I can stay in the real world even more. I'm not escaping so often. Very often I was afraid that that would make me not an INFJ or that it would deny who I truly am. No, we're all of that. And grounding ourselves just create a balance. So even if you think of it in terms of chakras, and I'm not going to go into that because I'm definitely not an expert, but we as INFJs very often are not grounded. Like what we're missing or what we have problems with are our lower chakras, like all of this, like really being grounded in reality. And therefore we have an over-functioning, third eye and all of that. And everything that's over-functioning is not healthy. We want a balanced energy field. And so, of course, grounding ourselves is the way to go for us. And what I recognize every single time I see, okay, I had a paradigm shift and I was able to ground myself more. What it actually looked like was that I had to confront one more layer of shame. I had to confront one more emotional layer that I didn't want to confront so far, that I was escaping. And so if you are able to take your energy away from people that you know are not really what you should be doing, and this can be a family member, this can be somebody that you love very dearly, giving them energy when you know that energy should be with you, like you know that's not what's best for them, although it feels like it in the moment. So put your purpose first, ground yourself. And the more I've done this, and I've made like some steps in order to help myself with this, because sometimes it feels like it's counterintuitive. I've just cut some forms of communication off. Some things that I've been doing so far, some people that I've looked up, or, a certain kind of talking to people in my environment in order to help them. I've, let that go. Because, for example, if you have a friend in your environment who's going through something, and if you've told them something over and over again, as in choose yourself, do what's best for you, whatever it may be, and you've said this over and over again, you've sent them this kind of energy, what you've done is you've been in their world and you've told them what to do with their energy. And they haven't even changed. That's the best indication. Okay, I need to change something. And it feels like we're abandoning the other person, but we're not. We're just not abandoning ourselves anymore. And so once you cut this off, your energy doesn't have anywhere to go. So it stays with you for a while. And that's when those uncomfortable feelings come up. So when you do something like this, expect stuff to come up for you to feel, bad, or maybe unmotivated, or to feel shame or fear and all of that, and just stay with it and know that this is part of the process, because you have to bring it up, you have to go through it, so then you don't have a reason to abandon this part of you anymore. And just telling you this, I know of one situation now of somebody who's very close to me who I, always tap into this way, and I want to help them energetically, and I'm not going to do that anymore. See, I catch myself like this, and, since this is something that like this, I have learned for myself rather recently. It's not like I haven't done this so far. Like everything I've done is sort of been something like this. Every single time it was like one more layer that I cut off from other people, that I was giving to other people, that I'm giving to myself, and I can ground myself more and more. But it just became really clear to me. And just now thinking about it, there's somebody who I love very dearly, who's really close to me, again, who I always try to encourage because I feel like they just need that. And now I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to allow them to figure that energy out for themselves, and I'm going to ground myself, because through that I'm doing two things. First off, I'm giving more to myself. I'm grounding myself. I can show up even better. And second of all, you're actually helping the people that you want to help the most, because then you're even more grounded, you're even more whole, and you being your energy helps them find their energy as well. You're becoming a mirror of what it is to be as complete as you currently are, and that helps them on their own path. Way more than anything that you could do by chasing their energy and focusing on their energy. Remember, it is a chasing. And sometimes if we tell ourselves this in such a way, we're much more likely to let go. Because if you think about, oh, I'm giving you attention, I'm giving you energy, I want to encourage you, and, I do this with good intentions, we're telling ourselves that we're doing something that is good. When you can always double check, am I doing something different now than I did 3 months ago, 3 years ago? The answer is no. Like when it comes to that person, time to let them figure it out. Focus that energy back on you, and you will help yourself and the person around you immensely. Like really let that happen, and you'll see amazing transformations. Remember, if you want some more strategies, how to tap into your reality, how to ground yourself, how to make progress in that, then definitely get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. I also have a lot of free material that can help you. And if you want to work with me one-on-one and tackle your individual situation, you can find a link with all the information in the description as well. If you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.